today's episode of Vital Doc Talk, we have Dr. Shreya joining the show, and she's going to talk about the industry for naturopaths and, how coronavirus is impacting it, and then also some of the things that they've done and are doing to actually combat the current situation and how she's looking forward to growing in the future. So, Dr. Shreya, welcome to the show. Glad to have you on.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, these have been challenging times for us as a society. And as a naturopathic doctor, I was always set up for telemedicine. So that piece was easy. Transitioning patient care over to telehealth was seamless for our practice. And I will say some of the benefits in telemedicine for patients are that it's cost savings. They don't have to go anywhere. And actually, I get to see them in their decompensated state. I get to see their environment, their home, and I get even more health information that way versus someone preparing and coming into an appointment and showing me the face that they, wanted to present to me. So
Yeah.
I think every practice moving forward is also going to make telemedicine part of their setup.
That's awesome. And I agree with you as well over there. And you were obviously, and your whole team over there are very wise to do this ahead of time. So for the doctors looking to switch to telemedicine, perhaps even some of the past and future doctors I'm going to interview, what would be some of your tips on switching to telemedicine? What were your challenges in the field? Obviously, you said a great insight and benefit is that you get to see their background and them and your patients in their most natural habitat. So why don't you go a little bit more there and tell us what we should be, conscious of?
So our electronic health record system makes it easy to do telemedicine and make sure the security is in place too. Some things for doctors to think about are informed consent forms and as well as what different states' regulations are regarding telehealth. If certain patients are billing to insurance, thinking about those pieces because the codes for billing are different if you're using telemedicine for patients. But other than that, it's been quite easy for me.
So your EHR, and what EHR are you using, by the way?
We're using Charm Health.
Charm Health, awesome, and shout out to them, I guess, since they're doing a good job for you right now, and they take care of all the telemedicine needs over there.
Yeah, so it's a monthly subscription fee for telemedicine, and I've never had a patient had a challenge with, being on time for their appointment because of trying to use. Yeah, I've never had any issues with it.
That's fantastic. And how much are monthly fees? Do you know like what the ranges are?
Yeah, so for us specifically, it's $20 a practitioner per month.
Okay, very cool. So shout out to them again, I guess. So very awesome. And did you do this from day one? Did you always have the feeling that, hey, this is very important, or maybe it was this is the future? What inspired you to start telehealth so early?
Our practice was always set up for it because two of the more senior docs, they actually moved out of state and they fly in once a week for in-person appointments. And for the rest of the month, they are able to see patients through telemedicine. So telemedicine has been huge for our practice from the beginning. And it definitely, is important for any patients with chronic pain, chronic disease, letting them stay where they are, stay at home, and be able to see us in person through video space. It's been really helpful if you're dealing with those populations.
Awesome. And Dr. Shreya, why don't you go a little bit more into kind of your background? Did you always want to be a naturopath, and kind of what inspired your career into this direction?
So I studied biomedical engineering in undergraduate, and I did not know about naturopathic medicine back then. After graduation, I just went into health IT. I knew I always wanted to be in healthcare, but I wasn't sold on any of the tracks at that point. And one of the reasons was that I grew up in just a couple years in India, but that culture has always been part of what I was exposed to. So things like Ayurveda, acupuncture, homeopathy, just the tremendous amount of herbs and spices that are in our daily repertoire. When I was growing up, that was our go-to when someone was sick. And what I was seeing in my studies in biomedical engineering, the way we approached any health problem was based on whether our idea could be patented. And so as a result, the evidence base and research out there is on, pharmaceuticals and medical devices that you could patent. So there's no financial drive to be putting out research on ginger or any of these herbs that are in your grocery store. And as a result, the medical education that that some doctors end up paying for and going to get, it's basically it's on pharma because the research is not there on these natural treatments. And so I knew just based on my experience that wasn't going to cut it for me. I would want to use a whole swath of other tools. And so the moment I learned about naturopathic medicine, it was just a no-brainer because it includes training on herbs, diet, nutrition, lifestyle, and you get to the nitty-gritty of it. So I know, exactly how much is this technique of meditation going to lower someone's blood pressure. And so I'm really able to fine tune that for patients.
That's awesome. And, going into those things, I mean, it almost seems for me too good to be true how like meditation can lower blood pressure, even though obviously that's a fact, right? You relax, your blood pressure will go down. What's been your way in the industry to kind of disseminate or educate clients and convince them of, hey, this is a tried and true approach versus this is, something you shouldn't do. And, when clients come to you, do they just kind of listen about everything or what are your methods, I guess, in presenting the right information?
Yeah. So the approach really matters for me. And what also stands out about this medicine is that it's always about the root cause. So what is causing high blood pressure for you is not going to be the same as another person. And what you do to adjust your blood pressure is not going to be the same as another person. So it's always very customized, very focused. And we're trying to get people to that state of health where, you're not experiencing the disease. And as a result, you've ended up fixing so many other health systems in your body. You've ended up preventing Alzheimer's down the road, cognitive decline down the road, all kinds of other metabolic conditions.
That's awesome. So the root cause, so focusing on that is really kind of seals the deal for
Peeling
people.
the layers and getting to just that state of wellness. And, something that I specialize in as well is holistic medicine, holistic counseling, motivational interviewing, to really help people stay on track. Sometimes when you're looking for the root cause, you can find like beliefs people have about themselves that are not working for them. And, is the disease that they're having, is that, a cry for help from their body saying, hey, there's things in my lifestyle that I really need to change, and masking these symptoms it's not going to cut it for me anymore.
Yeah, that's interesting. I really like that process. I do think that, once you go for the root, that could really help people. So you started your practice, right? And obviously after many years, you've learned a couple of gems. What advice would you have kind of for the younger doctors out there who maybe just got out of school and are just trying to build up their name in the industry?
Yeah.
And what do you wish you knew?
Building that name piece, it is important. So, I wish I had been educating my friends and family throughout my whole journey in naturopathic medical school, putting out the information there because people don't know what we do. And that's what I'm spending my time on now is putting out the education pieces, but it's never too early to start talking about what you do and helping people, online. And so that's the most important thing, getting your website out there. That's very important. Instagram, Facebook, you pick your tool and master it.
Awesome. And do you have a specific kind of favorite marketing channel? Is it Twitter, Instagram? Is it maybe going to your family and friends and using a referral process?
So currently I have been working on building my Instagram presence. So it's the endometriosis doc. So just endometriosis doc. If you Google it, that'll come in. And Instagram is a little seamless where you post on Instagram, it posts onto your Facebook business page at the same time. And if you want to share it on your private Facebook page, you can do it at that time. So those have been the main ways.
Interesting. And have patients found you through that Instagram before and contacted you, or have you had conversations with them?
I've definitely had conversations with people, and the way you see these tools are, not everybody wants that one-on-one appointment. Some people, they want to get a feel that they're learning about the system. So you have to kind of see, 7 months, even 18 months down the road, that might be the right time for this person. But you're still putting out that content to get the information they need so they can start helping themselves and getting onto this healthier path.
100%. Yeah. And I definitely agree. You make a great point there. It takes a time to build a brand, much like when I talk to doctors and they, talk to me about their patients and how they want that 6-pack abs in 6 weeks. I tell them the same thing with marketing. It's like there's no like overnight success. It takes a while to build that up. Okay. I love that. And so do you focus on a specific type of patient and client? It sounds like endometriosis is that
Yes.
niche you chose. And how did you go about choosing that niche? Because some of the doctors I've talked to before, they've asked me, hey, I'm starting a practice, looking to find a niche. What were your main factors?
When I was an intern in Toronto, I got to have a lot of patients with endometriosis also because, I asked for it and I was very successful in treating it. It is a condition that unless you're dealing with the root cause, surgery is not going to cut it. Surgery will cut out the endometrial lesions,
Hmm.
but you haven't dealt with why you have the issue. And the other alternative is drugs to suppress your hormones, which they are not sustainable long term. You have to take a break from them just because of the side effects.
Hmm.
And so it's a completely debilitating condition. And I think there needs to be a lot more research done on it. But I do have some innovative strategies that I've found very effective with patients. So I look at underlying chronic infections, specifically viruses, and along with the environmental piece, the emotional piece, past traumas that might be there, nutrition, diet. And the journey is different for each patient, but
Hmm.
getting to the root of the condition is possible. It is possible to heal from this.
And and that's fantastic that you were able to find that niche. What advice would you have for other doctors that are maybe, looking for their own niches? Did you look at the profit? Did you look at the market size? Was it passion that really
It
drove
was
you to?
passion. I just knew, I saw it, I knew it, and I had tremendous success with it. And so that's the advice I'm going to have is follow your passion in finding your niche, and pursue it relentlessly. It isn't
Mhm.
profit that motivates me; it's helping people that
Mhm.
motivates me.
Yeah, and I find that with a lot of doctors I talk to, they're in the industry to help people first and, profit second. But I think the beauty of that is if you focus on creating value, building up that brand early, and people can genuinely tell you're actually you care about them and you're looking to help them first, then automatically they're going to want to do business with you because they
Yeah.
trust you so much. And
Yeah, I wouldn't say, it's even about money. It's an exchange of ideas. Like I learn from my patients all the time. They are my cheerleaders also. They are, incredibly supportive, and we're learning from people. We help each other in ways that we don't realize.
Okay, this is fantastic. And last question I want to ask you for the podcast is if there's maybe one thing that you think doctors should be doing right now to grow their practices, or maybe make that difference, make that change, especially maybe during this coronavirus time. I don't know if you can affect it there, but what would it be? What would you want them to take away?
I would say diversifying the content that they make available for patients. I think too many people are just looking for that one-on-one, which
Mhm.
is, technically the most expensive as far as your time goes, but creating more product offerings for patients, whether it's a book or a webinar or, just a, recipe collection that you're sending patients, giving people other opportunities to access health and your care. That's going to be my tip.
Wonderful. Yeah, I think that's very solid advice as well. If you diversify yourself and you have a book, you have a community, and you're seen as a real leader because you're really passionate about what you do, then I think that's going to position you very well for success in whatever niche you choose as a doctor. So, Dr. Shrey, thank you so much for being on the podcast. And one last time, where can people find you, or if they wanted to contact you, where should we direct them?
Yeah, so my website is dr-soni, S-O-N for Nancy, I for India.com. And you'll see the links to my Instagram page, Facebook page, all of that there. But again, on Instagram, I am endometriosis doc. So doc is just spelled D-O-C there.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, so it's dr-soni.com if you want to talk to Dr. Soni. And I'm Vlad with Vital Doc Talk. Thank you guys again, and have a great day.